Hello, hello, welcome to another rendition of Math is Easy, Step by Step. So, quick review. We are working on solving two-step equations, and this is my last example. When solving an equation for a variable, when you're looking for that variable x, y, z, you want to use reverse PEMDAS, or order of operations. Parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. Which is, first you want to try to do the inverse of subtracting and adding. Then you will do the inverse of dividing and multiplying. Then you'll focus on the exponents, and finally, the parentheses. And remember, we're using inverse operations. What does that mean? That means the opposite. The opposite. So you're going to do two of these steps to solve and get the variable x, y, z, get that letter all by itself on one side of the equal sign in order to solve for these equations. You will be doing two of these procedures, the inverse operation. So let's go ahead and get started and let's take a look. We have, again, quick reminder, we're going to be using the inverse operations and following the opposite of PEMDAS, order of operation, in order to do that. And finally, you want to make sure you check that answer. So here's the example. X plus square root of 16 equals 0. I'd like to remind everybody, hey, there's an invisible 1 in front of that square root value. And so let's go ahead and get started. So the opposite, this is again a two-step equation. I want to get x all by itself. So the opposite of adding would be subtraction. So I want to subtract, and I'm going to show you that here. I like to subtract that square root of 16 to both sides of the equal sign, right? Plus 1 square root of 16 minus 1 square root of 16 is 0. So I'm left with a 0. Cancels out on the left side of that equal sign. I'm only left with x equals on this left side of the equal sign now. And then I subtract 1 square root of 16 on the right side as well. So I'm going to organize and rewrite on my paper what I had done in simplifying this first step. So again, positive 1 minus 1 cancels out. I'm left with 0. X equals anything plus 0 is just itself, and negative 1 square root of 16, which is a perfect square. 4 times 4. Remember, we need a perfect pair just to pull out one value outside the radical. Once we do that, if there's nothing left inside, that radical disappears. And that's what I'm going to show you here in this next step. And as you can see, I've got a perfect pair. I can pull out one value here. That's what I'm showing you. The 4, remember that one term you pull out. Because it's a perfect pair, I can pull one term 4. You got to multiply times that term in front of the radical. Here it's a negative invisible 1. So 4 times that negative invisible 1 equals negative 4. So x equals negative 4. Hey, I want to check my answer. I want to check my answer. So we're going to do that now in these last few steps. You write down that original problem. In that original problem, it was x plus the square root of 16 equals 0. Everywhere I saw x, I can substitute what I think is the answer. And if one side of the equation equals the other side of the equation, then I know my answer is correct. X equals a negative 4. So I'll substitute that negative 4 where x was in the original problem. Negative 4 is now in the place of x, plus the square root of 16 equals 0. Well, I know the square root of 16 is that perfect pair of 4s. I can pull one of those out. I'm showing you the perfect pair here. I can pull one 4 out, and it's a positive 4. And I'll show you that here in that next step. Perfect pair of 4s. I can pull one value out. Positive 4 times 1, which I'm showing you over here. I can pull out a perfect 1 because there's a perfect pair. Pull out 1, 4. 4 times 1 is going to be a negative 4 plus 4 times 1, which I'm showing you here. Negative 4 plus 4 times that invisible 1. There's that invisible 1. Remember, when we pull out that radical term, we have to multiply times whatever's outside. Here it's an invisible 1. 4 times the invisible 1. So negative 4 plus a positive 4 times 1. 4 times 1 is 4. Negative 4 plus a positive 4 is negative 4 plus a positive 4 is 0. So 0 equals 0. That answer is true. X has got to be equal to a negative 4. That was a lot of work, a lot of steps, but it's really worth it to check your answer. And so I hope this is making math a little bit easier for you. Math is easy. Take it step by step.